This simple recipe is really just dumping in the different ingredients, stirring them up, pouring them into a pie shell, baking it, and then we're going to do some fun things using our cookie cutters. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we want to beat the eggs. I always like to kind of have the eggs beaten up a little bit before I put them into a batter, especially if it's a liquid batter. So go ahead and crack your eggs, dry your hands off, and then with a fork or a whisk, just whisk up your eggs. Okay. Now, hopefully you made your pumpkin pie spice with your spice bottle. If not, you can read the recipe of how to make pumpkin spice, because we're going to use that to make our pumpkin. Now, the pumpkin that we're using is fresh, pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie mix. So we're using 1 can of the pumpkin, pure pumpkin. Then we're going to use 1 can of the sweet condensed milk. And this is going to give it the smoothiness of the pumpkin pie that everyone loves. Okay, now we're going to add in our eggs. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of our pumpkin pie spice and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're just going to stir that really well. So right now, preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Now with pumpkin pie, you're going to bake it at 425 for 15 minutes. Then you're going to reduce the heat to 350 degrees and bake it another 40 minutes till it's that soft set that you want. All right, let's get ready for a pie crust. So when you buy a refrigerated pie crust, it comes usually in 2 rolls. It usually has the plastic around it like this. So once you take it out of the package, let it sit at room temperature for just a little bit. And it takes about 10 minutes to soften it up. And then what you're gonna do is just roll it and place it into your pie pan, just like that. Depending on your pie plate, you're just gonna press in. And if you have a little left over, what you can do is tuck it, the little pieces like that. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Just a little fold, kind of like a little cuff. Like that. Then with like a pinching like this, you just pinch the sides. Just go around and pinch. Doesn't have to look perfect. We're just pinching. And what that does is it crinkles, or some people call it crimping, the crust. Just like that. Okay, now do a little like that. You're gonna take your pumpkin and pour it in very carefully. Bake it first at 425 degrees for 15 minutes, then reduce the heat to 350 and bake it another 40 minutes. And while it's baking, we're going to actually make our little pumpkins. In the oven it goes. So while your pie is in the oven, you can start to make your little pumpkin toppers. So you're just gonna roll out the second piece of pie crust, and with your mini pumpkin, you're just going to press, set them aside. We're gonna make some little indents in there to make it look more like a pumpkin. You need about 8 to 10. The nice thing is that everyone will get a mini pumpkin with their slice of pie. Okay, when you have all those done, go ahead and pull them out. And you can just use this pie crust for something else. And then using the back of a spoon or a knife, you're just gonna make the indents that you would see on an actual pumpkin. So you just kind of do like a little bit of a curve, like that. Take a pan and lay them on top. You don't need to oil the pan or anything, just pop them in like that. And then we'll bake them. Your beautiful pie is out of the oven. The way that you can test it is to take a cake tester and just poke it in, and if it comes out clean in the middle, that means it is baked properly. Now you're going to take your baked pumpkins and just go ahead and bring them all the way around so that everybody gets a little tiny pumpkin when you cut the pie. Is that adorable? And there you have your beautiful pumpkin pie.